Right, it's been some time since I've done a review, and I wasn't planning to do one this soon. And then as things changed, new things appeared, I got a little bit excited and got something in because I wanted it. And these are RCINPOWER motors, and unlike the thumbnail where they are pink and blue, mine are grey because I forgot to tell my contacts at Banggood that I wanted the pink and blue ones. And this is a 2207 motor by RCINPOWER, and these are the GTS-V2 2207 1860 kV. And the reason why I went back on what I said and asked for these for review is because, and nobody really watched this video, on my smooth operator 6-inch I'm running the GTS-V2 1800 kV 2306, and they are my favourite motors. And I put that down to a number of things, the biggest one being that it was the first time I'd flown a 6-inch, and all the things that I was feeling were probably down to the quality of the frame and the fact that it was a 6-inch as opposed to a 5-inch. And I never really thought much about it. I said they were really good motors and I really liked them, which I did. And then the other week, Rich, who's the designer of Hyperlaw, commented that they were his favourite motors as well, and he was running them on a 5-inch on 5S. So on a whim I put mine on my Hyperlaw CG, and I absolutely loved them on that as well. So these are the motor that nobody pays that much attention to, but they're pretty cheap, and if these are anything like the 2306s, they will be my favourite motor. Now the thing about RCINPOWER is they don't give you any specs for anything, so I've got no idea whether this shaft is titanium or hardened steel, and we don't even know what the bell is made of. But what I can tell you is I've been crashing this guy, smashing this guy ever since I've got it, and these motors are as smooth as the day I put them on this quad, which is unusual. As if you've seen my videos, you'll know when I'm tree diving and stuff like that, I smash quads all the time. So that's the reason that these are here. So we have a quick look. This won't come out particularly well on camera, which is why I wanted the pink and blue ones, which are much more blingier. But we've got a one-piece bell, and it's really pretty in the flesh, really understated. We've got a nice fat set screw, so if I can find a driver, let's have a look and see what we've got inside. So we've got thread lock. It's that horrible white stuff that everybody in China seems to use. Can I get this off? No, I can't. Right, I've tried to get the bell off without success. I did try putting a screw in and then counterleaving against a loosened version of this screw, which pushed the bell sort of 3/4 of the way up the magnet, but I can't get it off without either heating it up or using a lot of force, and as I don't want to break this motor prior to flight, I'm not going to go any further. If you want to know what they look like inside, then Engineer X, who I often look at for motor reviews, has a look inside of the 2306 version. So this will just be essentially a bigger version. it's still the same old stuff. We've got N52 curve magnets, air gaps are tiny, windings are really nice, and the bearings from experience are really good quality 4x9. As I said, I couldn't tell you whether this is 7 or 7.5 or whether the shaft is titanium, although I suspect it probably is. In terms of weight, they weren't the lightest. Not that that bothers me in the slightest, but let's just see what these weigh with the wire. So 35.4 grams, which I think is a similar weight to the Zings, and we'll have the usual 150 160 mil of a wire. But as a freestyle guy, I really don't give a monkey's as to whether a motor is a gram or two heavier, and I'm not massively interested in its all-out thrust figures, although the 2306 version of this seems a little bit more powerful on the top end than the Zings. All of today's modern motors have sufficient power for the sort of flying that I do, and even if you're a racer, I don't really think we're in a position right now with the sort of quality of motors that we're getting left, right and centre that a motor's ever really going to hold you back. It's really your own competency on the sticks. So anyway, the more important thing for me is how do they feel in the air, because that's the one thing that the bench tests don't tell us. So what I'm going to do is stick it on a quad, possibly my CG or the RS, and let's see how they are in the air. Right, we're here at the usual spot. I've stuck the motors on my RS. It's going to be a little bit interesting this, because my HDR's packed up the ghost, so I'm back to using my Sky Zones, which I haven't used for ages, and I haven't got my lenses in, so I won't be able to see where I'm going. We're using HQ 4x3 props, and I've got some Azure 5140s as backup. I've been trying a few different props recently. I don't like the new Johnny props, so my favourites at the moment are the Ethics HQ S3 props, which offer a good balance of punch and smoothness, whereas the Johnny props are just really weedy in my opinion. So yeah, so let's give this a go. Flying's not going to be spectacular because I can't see where I'm going, but here we go. So here we go, and my immediate impression is how tight and controlled the throttle feels. They've got tons of power, but they make the power in such a sort of resolution way. It's really hard to describe. They don't feel loose. You don't feel like you're sort of, if you took the throttle you're getting too much power or not enough. They feel really, really precise. The Zing 1700 kV, which were 2207s, which were on this quad, and I flew it the other day, are also a very nice motor, but they don't have this much throttle feel. They don't feel as tight. These motors feel like they've got more power, and they make it in a really linear way, but the more power is likely down to the higher kV as much as anything else, but they just feel absolutely perfect in the air, which is unusual when you slap a random set of motors on an existing quad that you've been flying. Sometimes it takes quite a long time to get used to it, but I'm instantly feeling at home, even though I'm flying different goggles and I can't actually see where I'm going. Just kind of the quad feels right and precise, and that's kind of a lot of words to sort of say that I think these are along with the 2306s, which I love as well, these are probably the best motor I've ever flown. And I've flown a lot of different motors over the years from all the major manufacturers. And I think if you get any motor right now and you spend 12, 13 quid upwards, you're likely to get a very good motor. And the differences above that are really sort of down to personal preference and feel. But for me, my flight style, this particular quad, you won't hear me say this very often, these are the best motors I've ever flown. End of, full stop. So make of that what you will. Obviously, you don't do a lot of advertising in the Western world, but they're pretty popular in China, I think. And as I said, from my experiences flying the 2307s on the Catalyst Machine Works Smooth Operator 6-inch, those motors run as well as the day I put them on, so they're certainly lasting as well, if not better, than Brother Hobby's T-Motors, etc. So yeah, there you go. I found my perfect motor. Give them a try or not, as you choose. Cheers, guys.